So hi guys, how are we all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chin of Jula Style Glam. It's your first time here with me. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're already subscribed to this channel, you're very, very welcome. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the rifts allegedly. Well, I don't know if it's still alleged, but we're going to be talking about the rift that is happening in the Beckham household, apparently between Brooklyn Beckham and his family, right? Okay, so let's start from the very top now. So very recently, we got news that Brooklyn and his wife, if we don't know, Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz got married 3 years ago. That was in 2022. And so we got news recently that they renewed their vows after 3 years of marriage, and in that ceremony we actually see that David, his father, and Victoria, his mom, were visibly absent from this vow renewal. Now we also just a little backstory. Now, Brooklyn is the first child of the Beckham household. And I remember when he was born, and I recall all the lovely things Mama VB did, for her boys, because, she had three of them. She had the three boys first. And I recall there were the births which were signaled with a different car each, Bentley, Rolls Royce, funny things. And and I understand it. I mean, a mama of boys, it's usually like that. You always want to spoil your boys, right? Well, now for that wedding, it is said that Nicola wore her 70-year-old mom's Claudia's vintage 1985 bridal gown, and it was her father, Nelson Peltz, who officiated the ceremony. Now, the Peltz family is quite a very well-to-do family, as the Beckham family. So, why are we going to be talking about this? Now, let's put a little bit of context. Now, when Brooklyn and Nicola got married in 2022, it was said that from People magazine anyway, that Victoria left Nicola Peltz in tears at her wedding. Now, Victoria Beckham allegedly hijacked a dance at the couple's 2022 wedding that and Brooklyn posted on Instagram stating that he'd always choose his wife, right, over anybody. Now, what happened was that there was this artist, Mark Anthony, who actually was the one who officiated the wedding. And from what we gather, Brooklyn and Nicola had picked the song that they were going to dance to. Now, Mark Anthony came out and was supposed to be introducing the couple to this song. And Mark Anthony made a faux pas, because for me, in my opinion, that's a serious faux pas. And he said, "The most beautiful woman in the room tonight." He said, "This song is dedicated to the most beautiful woman in the room tonight." And it was not Nicola, but Victoria. Now, Victoria Beckham now came out and began to dance with her son, right? Also, David celebrated his 50th birthday, and Brooklyn and Nicola were apparently absent from the celebration while the others were there. And they said they were invited nonetheless, but they chose not to go. So that is the whole story in a nutshell. And so I'm going to first of all start from the wedding. Okay, it's not going to be in a chronological order per se, but I'm going to start from the wedding. So Mark Anthony, who was the one who was supposed to be doing this, thing he was doing, and had the microphone to himself and said, "This song is dedicated to the most beautiful woman in the room," on the wedding day of someone of Victoria Beckham's daughter-in-law to her son. and you open your mouth and you say the most beautiful woman in the room. Now, I'm going to call out Mark Anthony on that because that was very shady and that was wrong. Now, what I do not know is if it was planned between him and VB, because we learned that Mark Anthony is a very good friend. He's very good friends with the Beckhams. So that's what we don't know, if it was a planned thing. Now, even if, right, if I want to put all the blame on Mark Anthony, right, Victoria, as a mom, listen, boy moms, I know how we are. We are very possessive of our boys. Now, VB, as a mom, right, who has had the pleasure of having her wedding the way she wanted it to. Remember, we all witnesses to your wedding with remember, you had that opportunity. You had your wedding. There was nobody that was disturbing you. It was you and David. We even saw the documentary. We all saw how he was entoured by you all, the Spice Girls, all the good stuff, right? You had that opportunity to yourself, right? As a mom and the mother-in-law, I question the fact that you took up that occasion rather than bring your daughter-in-law up, right? And be like, no, that was a mistake. I mean, it's your son's wedding. I mean, you guys paid for that wedding. And so rather than you do that, you danced with your son. The first dance, which we all know is the bride and the groom. It's the same thing even in Nigeria. The first dance is the bride and the groom before any other person. And so you get up and you confidently danced with your son on his wedding day while the wife watched. Victoria? See how I'm looking at you? Now, that aside, because again, everyone is going to collect Onyobola, Now, we put that aside. Now, Brooklyn and Nicola, for both of you. Now, you renewed your vows. I saw some comments online that were saying things like, after 3 years, come on, blah, 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 blah. Listen, it's none of our business. So do you understand? Anybody, you can renew your vows after 1 year. You can renew it after 2 years. It's your cup of tea. You understand? You're allowed, So anyone saying, oh, that you're just babies, I mean, it's their couple. It's none of our business. But, and again, one could actually imagine that you wanted something small all along. We could also imagine that, okay, for you, it was time for you to give your wife the wedding that she always wanted, right? We could always put it at that. So on that one, I have really nothing to I have nothing to, scold you or reproach you about. The problem I'm having is the parent. In fact, it's not my problem, but the thing is that your parents were visibly absent from this vow renewals. We don't know if you invited them. It was never stated, but they were not there. Now, this wedding was conducted by Nicola's dad. Now, I'm also hearing some things over the grapevine about Nicola. And I don't know this person. I mean, I only began to hear about Nicola Peltz just in the wake of her getting married to Brooklyn Beckham. I never knew who she was. And, we're hearing stuff about the fact that she's friends with certain types of people. Well, it's her choice. But the thing is, there's if she's friends with with I don't know, that's her business. I don't care. But this is where I'm going to, Brooklyn, this is where I'm going to call you to order. I don't think there is anyone, right? I don't think there is anyone who is happy or will be happy that you are not at peace with your family, you're not in good terms with your family. I don't think there is anyone who is going to be ecstatic about it. that your family are absent in your life. And I'm saying this to you because I have seen it happen. I have watched how it's destroyed families. I have seen it. It's not like someone is telling me. Your family is the strongest. That's the strongest link you have. And that's the biggest flex you will ever have. There is nothing like family, because the bonds that you share, right, are very, very tight and tight knit. I have seen families being torn apart just because a father or a mother did not know how to put the kids or how to put everyone together. Rather, they were taking sides with your children and doing stuff that, rather than unite those families together, breaks them apart. Now, your dad, David Beckham, and Victoria are what we would call Generation X's. So there's something you're going to actually get to know, Brooklyn, that your parents will never, I don't see them coming to meet you to say, I'm sorry for whatever reason. And why I'm saying that, it's because that's just who they are. They're your parents. That's just what they are. Nothing will happen. But know that they love you. Know that they always worry about you and everything that concerns you. They will never speak ill of you, and they will never say anything to hurt you or do anything to hurt you, knowingly or unknowingly. They'll never do that, because they're your parents and they love you. They've loved you from the day you were born. But in your statement, you said you will always choose your wife. Again, you're valid. But you see, in everything that we do, we must apply wisdom. Your wife will always come first, that's for sure. But apply wisdom, because peace is what allows you to achieve, to grow, to be able to, be that person that you are destined to be. You're not going to be caught up in this, you will be able to avoid being caught up in emotional turmoil, because it will bring you emotional turmoil. You see, the worst form of suffering that you can go through is just knowing that you are not in good terms with your family. It eats you inside. It does eat you inside. And it eats you inside so much so because, you're not seeing them, you're not talking to them. You got your brothers, you got your sister, and you're not able to see them. And you are going to be in this state and asking and wondering, how are they doing? Do they even think about me? Do they remember me? It's normal. And because you share a bond, you share blood, it's very, very normal. And so this is where I'm going to get Nicola Peltz involved. Now, I'm Nigerian, if you don't know, and I'm African as well. And by virtue of that, there is something that in Africa, there is something that it's a general belief. As a wife, when you come into a home, you do not want to be known or seen or perceived as someone who is who brings in conflict. Because what you will eventually hear is that since they married this woman, our son has been da 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 da. Again, let's think about it this way. If it were Brooklyn who was separated, who separated you, Nicola, from your family, that is if it was the other way around, how do you think it will be perceived? It will be perceived that Brooklyn was abusing you. It will be perceived that he was being violent towards you, he was controlling, and such and such and such. So, as a wife, coming into a family of this level of fame, what you would want to do is to keep away from family. First of all, you want to keep away from family drama from your in-laws. That's the first thing you want to do. Secondly, you want to ensure that both sides of the pond that are at peace. And it is not because whatever is happening there is your business. It is because of you. Now, I'm speaking from the perspective of we as a Nigerian and as an African. And to give you a little bit of context, I'll tell you a story. So I know this lady who got married to her husband. And in the course of their getting married, they had their wedding, blah, blah, blah. The family did not come. The husband's family. They were visibly absent. And I mean, it's her wedding. Why? Now, of course, she got into the family and understood that there was a lot of conflict. Now, okay, sorry, the family came, but they weren't very as cordial. Yes, they came, but they weren't as cordial. And now this conflict that had, started in the family continued even while they were married. And so she now began to speak to her husband. She came in and met this family in conflict. Now she began to speak to her husband. And she said, this, that. I don't think it should continue. And then she goes to talk to the sisters-in-law and the brothers-in-law and say, this, that, let it be forgotten. We are Christians, blah, 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 blah. And this had been going on for years, trying to cement the turmoil in the home. Fast forward a couple of years later, it was settled. And they began to visit each other in their different homes. Yes, they all began to visit each other in their different homes. Spend time and holiday. When the husband was celebrating his birthday, the family came out. And each and every one of them, brother, sister, uncle, every one of them came and hugged his wife, their brother's wife, with tears in their eyes. Everyone was in tears. And they all said that she is the reason why today that they are all together. Thanks to this lady. What am I saying, Nicola? You are an in-law. And where I come from, an in-law is an in-law, a member of the family, as well as a visitor. Why? If you decide you want to be a visitor, you will remain a visitor. If you decide you want to be a member of the family, you will be a member of the family. The way to become a member of a family is to ensure that both sides of the pond are at peace. You see, Nicola, you would be with your husband, Brooklyn, and sometimes his mind will be somewhere else. You will watch your husband and you would see that somewhere deep inside of him, he's not happy. You will be watching your husband and you're seeing all these things. Meanwhile, because it favors you, Either you will choose not to see it, or you will see it and want to do something about it. I pray that it's not one of those cases where it turns out to, well, my wife made me do it, or whatever I was. Even if you didn't make him do it, even it's in the interest of fighting for you. One thing must be primordial. It is not to the detriment of alienating your family. Some people will say, oh, family is toxic. We have toxic families. I get that. But even when a family is toxic, there are methods and ways to deal with them. And with therapy, you can. So all I'm saying in a nutshell to you, Nicola, is be the glue that brings them back together. Do not be seen or do not be known as that woman who is comfortable in conflict, whatever happens. Because you see, marriage is not just about you and Brooklyn. Marriage is about you and families. And we are not looking to break up families. We are looking to unite families and grow them. I don't want to speak to you or, talk about things that, are in the tabloids, because that's neither here nor there. I'm speaking to you. I'm saying this based on what I know that conflict can do and how it can destroy rather than bring together. Because again, it may look like, oh, my husband chooses me. Oh, my husband is this. In the beginning, it will look and sound amazing. But it's worrisome. If you have a conscience, it is. To the Peltz, mother and father, you should know better. Yes, Nelson Peltz and Mr. and Mrs. Peltz, both of you should know better. You see, when I say I'm so proud to be African. I'm not just African, I'm proud to be Nigerian. Let me break it down. I'm proud to be African. I'm proud to be Igbo, exceptionally proud to be Igbo. And I'm proud to be African and Nigerian. Mr. Nelson, Mr. and Mrs. Peltz, you didn't do well at all. Because in the animal kingdom, when all the animals were unaliving their parents because there was no food in the land, what did the tortoise do? The tortoise took his mother somewhere and hid her. And so it happened that one day in the animal kingdom, so there was there was a problem that they could not solve. They didn't know what to do. And so the tortoise thought to himself, maybe my mother will have the answer to this puzzle, because no one could tell them anything. They had all unalived their parents. And so the tortoise went to where he hid his mother and told the mother, this is the problem we're having in the animal kingdom. I don't know we don't know what to do. And so the tortoise's mother said, okay, this is what you should do, and gave a solution. The next day when they were at the meeting, the tortoise came out and preferred the solution given to him by his mother. And when all the animals in the animal kingdom heard it, they were all so happy. And they decided that the tortoise would be made king, since he was the only one that came up with a solution to the problem and gave them methods to solve the problem. And so they decided that the tortoise would be king of the animal kingdom. What I'm saying in essence is wisdom of parents of the older generation can never be thrown away. And as those parents that you are, it is your duty to have applied and to apply wisdom where it is lacking in your children because they're your children. Brooklyn Beckham is your son now, and Nicola is your daughter. It is up to you. It is then the onus then lies on you as the parents to apply wisdom where the children have forgotten what wisdom looks like or sounds like. You see, I find that in this generation as parents, and this is something that as Africans, we imbibe it. I find that this is so funny that you see your child, you are looking at your child and you claim because they're an adult. An adult at 25 is not an adult, it's still a pikin. The frontal lobe, what do they call them? Frontal lobe, temporal lobe. It's not fully developed then. And you see your child doing something, and you, rather than call that child to order and say this, that, I really do miss the periods of it takes a village where, your neighbor, your somebody who is correcting you and doing the correction. I really do miss those eras. You just watch them and you just assume or believe that, no, you don't do that. And so, that's it for me, So that's where, all of this, boils down, to when it comes to this conflict. And Victoria, I would encourage you to apologize to your son and your daughter, Nicola, right? I know that you can't get back that day of the wedding, but you could have done things differently. And I would want and I hope that you do something to correct that error. Something that they would be so grateful that you did for them. I would love that you did that to correct that mistake, because one's wedding is just a wedding. It's once and that's it. Every other thing after that is, So that's where it ends for me on this topic. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'd like to hear your position. I'd like to hear what you think. All in the comment section, even your questions. I'd like to hear everything. I'd like to read them all in the comment section. And so if you're here up until now and you are yet to subscribe to this amazing channel, what are you waiting for? It's free. It's just a red button over there. Click it and you become a member of this gorgeous family. All right. Bye.